Come on and get your sign. Come on and get your sign.
Is it just me, or these grandparents ain't grandparenting like they used to? I remember hanging out at my grandparents' house all the time. But now that I got my own kids, these sets of grandparents don't be wanting these kids like that. These new grandparents got the nerve to be trying to have lives. I never asked to be here. You had me, and I had kids. Therefore, you still cover the burden. Yes, grandparents, it's your fault that we got kids. Some of y'all might say, no, you was out there having sex and all of that. But I never asked to be here. So in all actuality, these your kids. Come get them before I put you on child support. Or I'm going to call my grandparents and tell on you that you ain't taking care of your responsibility. Go and earn grace.
Do we got to go back one more time? Let's go back one more time. I don't think y'all heard what he said, because what he said was clear Bible. And this is the big issue nowadays, especially to this new generation that we got running around. Hell, I'm dealing with it right now. No shade to my mama. No shade to the other people out there. You know what I'm saying? But nah, this is the real issue out here, bro. This is the real issue. Let's go ahead and play it again. I don't think y'all heard that man Payne.
Is it just me, or these grandparents ain't grandparenting like they used to? I remember hanging out at my grandparents' house all the time. But now that I got my own kids, these sets of grandparents don't be wanting these kids like that. These new grandparents got the nerve to be trying to have lives. I never asked to be here. You had me, and I had kids. Therefore, you still cover the burden. Yes, grandparents, it's your fault that we got kids. Some of y'all might say, no, you was out there having sex and all of that. But I never asked to be here. So in all actuality, these your kids. Come get them before I put you on child support. Or I'm going to call my grandparents and tell on you that you ain't taking care of your responsibility. Go and earn grace.
Yep. That's definitely how it is. And I've been saying this for a long time, man. I've been saying this for years. At least about 5-6 years. The grandma system is officially gone. Yeah, that old grandma system where you always stay with your grandmama, possibly your granddaddy. It don't matter, grandparent, don't matter. But I call it the grandma system. It's gone, y'all. It's fried. It ain't never coming back, man. It's real messed up because our parents, they done had us at all kind of young ages, and I think they seen the cause and effects of all the mistakes that they done made, or if not the mistakes that they done made, they done seen what they mama and what they daddy had to deal with, and they like, dang, man, they ain't the type of grandparent I want to be. Meanwhile, you the ones that dropped our asses off. You dropped us off, went to go live your life, go do your thing. Not to say that our parents did a bad job. Some of y'all parents did a bad job. Mine didn't. My mama ain't do a bad job. She was a great mother. She always stayed on my behind, made me sharp the way I am today. I appreciate her for that. But I always stayed at my grandmama's house, for real. I stayed at my grandma's house so much that I considered that my actual home. And my mama used to had to come and drag me out my grandmama's apartment and take me back home because I didn't want to go back. Yep, she used to call and say, John, you want to come back home? Nope. She used to call my grandma and be like, ask John if he want to come home. John, you want to go home? Nope. That's how much I was around my grandma. That's how much I love to be around my grandmother, because she took on that role of just being grandma. So much to the point that she even told me even years ago. She told me years ago, and she still tells me to this day, that even in her grandmama's dying days, she stayed there and all the rest of the siblings weren't there. She paid it back. She paid that love forward towards grandma because she put in that work, she put in that time. But nowadays, like homeboy said, these grandmamas and these new granddaddies, they want to be in the club with your ass. Yep. They asking you what you got running. They asking you what's popping for tonight. They on Instagram, they on Facebook, they living their best life. And I think they understand because life is short. And I know they know that life is short. They've been knowing it, but it's the fact that like I said, man, a lot of us got country grandparents and stuff like that, old school, old heads, and they knew for a fact that they weren't willing. Our parents knew they weren't willing to keep up with those type of tracks that they left behind. So therefore, they dropped the ball, bro. I'm gonna tell you, the parents that was born in the early 1960s all the way until I say about like the late 70s or right at the 1980 mark, they really dropped the ball. And I'm gonna tell you why. And this is no disrespect to any of y'all out there that's listening. I'm gonna tell y'all where y'all dropped the ball at. Y'all dropped the ball, bro. You know, black reciprocity and I'm talking about for black folks as well. You know, I'm mainly talking about black folks. Black reciprocity was a big thing. You know, when you had funk, you had country music, you had Black Wall Street that was pushing all between the 1970s all the way down to like the early 1900s, the 1930ish, 40ish mark. That was black reciprocity time. That was a time to be black. But then I felt like what happened was our grandparents, they got fed up with being in the field. They didn't want to go through they didn't want their kids to go through the same thing that they went through. And they pretty much chastised our parents a lot that were born in the 1960s and the 70s. They chastised them a lot in a way that, hey, you just better be lucky that you got some food on your plate. You better go to school, even though I can't really teach you about school, or I can't really lecture you like that because I dropped out in 4th grade or 7th grade. You better go out there and just do what you need to do and just be appreciative that them good white folks out there are able to even give you education, because I couldn't even finish to get my education. So our parents sort of had to finish school, and they had to walk the straight, narrow line of being in the dominant society and understanding, you know, how to just walk. And then that's when we came into play. The ones who were born in the late 1970s, I mean, the early 1980s, all throughout 1980s and the 1990s and so on, we are the rebellious ones. We will quit our job like a mug. We not gonna sit there and take a mistreatment from no job for no 20 damn years and be sitting here pouting and complaining in the crib talking about what boss doing to us. No, we're gonna be out on day number 3. No, we're gonna be out on day number 13. Meanwhile, our parents, their generation is more so on the, well, how come you're not going to college? Well, how come you're not respecting those people who gave you an opportunity? And we see it as slavery. We see it as something like, hey, this is not the way to go. I am very optimistic about my future, and there's no disrespect, mama or daddy or uncle or auntie. There's no disrespect, but the internet is out here now, man. People out here getting it all kinds of ways that you don't even see. And that's just what it is. So they played it safe. That's all I'm trying to say. Our parents played it hella safe because they were taught to just respect, keep their chest poked out, walk a straight narrow line, and they tried to beat that into us, but it really didn't work, because during the analog time when we were talking on the cord phone and we had beepers and stuff like that, right around the time when AOL optimized and 7.0 and 6.0 and all that stuff came around, that's when we started rebelling. We started rebelling a lot, because we started seeing a way out. We started seeing a different world that they didn't understand. Now, I'm not saying that everybody from the 1960s and the 1970s or 50s, I'm not saying that they missed, that they didn't understand, because there's a lot of people, a lot of older folks that understand the internet probably better than what we do if they kept up with the change in times, but most of them didn't. So I feel like the only thing that kind of made them come around and made them who they are today, and the reason why they have this stubborn attitude, why they can't babysit your grandkids, babysit your child or your children, is because of Instagram. Instagram and Facebook did it all. Facebook used to only be for the college students, and that was it. Now, until they opened the doors for all the high school kids and everything else, and your grandmama and them, that's when everything started overflooding, and that's when they started understanding, like, hey, this is how the internet actually works. This is what they're talking about. This is what they're doing. And Instagram, like I said, that right there, that opened the door all the way. That opened the door all the way to moisturize their mindset into thinking like, dog, there's a whole world out there and I'm missing out. Look at all these girls out here twerking. Look at all these girls out here getting ass shots and stuff like that. Look at all these dudes out here that's rapping or doing whatever they do. Look at everybody taking trips in their early 20s when I was sitting around making sure that my child was eating. They felt like they missed a lot. And they don't want to miss what they own mamas and daddies miss. They don't want to miss out on what your grandma and your granddaddy and them missed out on, or your great grandma or your great granddaddy, because they missed out on a lot. They missed out on a lot of fun. But during those times, raising us as grandkids, that was basically fun to them. Maybe not all the time, and not to say that they wanted to always keep us, but that was all they knew. There was nothing else going on. Now it's like, all right, we don't care. We're going to live our best life. Now we got grandmamas and granddaddies out here pushing their 50s and 60s, and they looking like us. They looking like they every bit of early 40s or in their late to mid 30s. They looking like us. They wearing the same clothes what we wearing. They out here dating how we date. They hunching how we hunch. Same way. They in our conversations. They watching stuff on YouTube the way we do. We put them on that though. For the most part, we put them and we invited them into our generation. And what they did was they looked at it, they studied it, and it worked against us, y'all. It sure enough did. So yeah, I commend old boy for putting that out there, because these new grandmamas and granddaddies ain't shit. They ain't. Not to say all of them. Not to say all of them. I'm really not saying all of them. But boy, compared to the other ones, they don't want to put in that work. They don't want to put in that work. You got grandmamas and granddaddies out here now that they ain't seen their grandkids in over a year, maybe 2 years. Grandmamas and granddaddies now, they moving out. They going to Dubai. They going on vacation, bro. Especially if they single. Oh no, they taking trips out the behind. Then they'll hit you up and tell you when they want to see their grandbabies. Yeah, that's how it be. Back in the day, the grandmamas and the granddaddies used to get mad when you never brought the kids over. Nah, these new ones, no, that ain't the case. They ain't getting mad at all. They thanking God that she ain't bringing them little niggas around. Yep, I said it. They thanking God. The only time they want to be involved is when they pick up the phone and call you and say, bring my grandbaby. Yep, I'll watch it for 30 minutes. A day pushing it. You can't just pull up to the crib out of nowhere and just knock and just say, hey, here go my grandbabies. I'm finna go have some fun. I'll be doggone damn. Where you going? Well, I'm finna go to the cigar bar. I'm just finna, go hang out with the fellas or go hang out with the girls. Oh, the hell you not? I got plans too. If you want to know where it all started changing, I feel like it started changing when Baby Boy came out. When Baby Boy came out, Jody had a hard time. It wasn't like his mama was really watching the grandbaby like that. She wasn't. She was worried about how mama got a life too. She said, you are not a baby anymore. Mama gotta have a life too. Around that time. And I think that's what it was, because they played it on TV so many doggone times, especially on BET, that it stuck in our parents and them head that they said, you know what, that need to be me. Yep. That's what happened, y'all. They dropped the ball. Not to say they ain't do a good job, but they damn sure dropped the ball. And they trying to make us live a life that they ain't even had before. Or that they grandmamas and them ain't that they mamas ain't never had before. We walking into a whole nother lane. We with the kids all the doggone time. Not to say we don't love our kids, but we with them all the time to the point that we don't know no better. Then they got the nerve. We living in the times now where grandparents will sit there and say, dog, why they acting like that? Don't act like you don't know me, young man. Or don't act like you don't know me, baby. They don't know your ass. They don't know you because you ain't never came around to visit them. You ain't never took time out to keep them. And you wondering why your grandkids ain't rocking with you. Let me stop going further. I'm looking mad. Look, I'm speaking on behalf of everybody that's going through this stuff, okay? Not to say that they can't have their life, because I know I want to have my life when I get older too. But hey, like old boy said, we didn't ask to be here. So, all that other stuff y'all talking about, like how y'all had y'all fun, like how y'all had y'all weekends, y'all weekdays and stuff like that, y'all whole month, possibly half a month. Hell, there are grandmamas and granddaddies that used to adopt the kids and keep the kids and be like, you know what? They my babies now because you ain't taking care of them. Yeah, right. You say you ain't taking care of your baby now, your grandmama, the grandmama and them ain't coming around, that baby gonna be in a foster home. Yes, in a foster home. They not coming around like that no more, bro. If you got some that's like that, who come around and care about the babies, then hell, you better keep that program running and you better honor that program and honor that grandmama or that granddaddy as much as you can. Because God knows it's hard to come around now. But hey, we got to get better, man. We got to stop dismissing our grandkids out here just because we want to have a little bit of fun. I understand you ain't got that much time left. Hell, we none of us know when we gonna leave. But we do know BS when we see it. That's all we saying. That's all we saying. Can I get an amen?